You're exhausted, not just from the work, not just from the responsibilities, but from the weight of trying to hold everything together on your own. You wake up with a mental checklist already running, all the things you need to fix, all the problems you need to solve, all the people who need something from you, and you carry it, all of it, every single day. You pray about it, sure. You ask God for help. You bring your burdens to Him in those quiet moments when you remember to, but then you pick them right back up and keep carrying them. Keep trying to figure it out. Keep working harder, thinking longer, pushing further. Because deep down, you don't really believe God is going to handle it if you don't. You believe He could. You believe He's capable. But you don't believe He actually will. Not unless you do your part. Not unless you exhaust every option. Not unless you prove you've tried everything first. So you keep trying, keep striving, keep carrying what you were never meant to carry alone. And it's killing you, not dramatically, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, in exhaustion that never lifts, in anxiety that never settles, in the feeling that you're one crisis away from completely falling apart. You're trying to do God's job, and you're destroying yourself in the process. Here's what you need to hear, what you've been avoiding because it feels too risky, too vulnerable, too much like giving up. God doesn't want your help. He wants your surrender. He doesn't need you to figure out for Him. He needs you to trust that He's already figured it out. He doesn't need you to carry the weight. He needs you to finally, truly, completely let go of it. And that terrifies you, because letting go feels like losing control. But you never had control. You just convince yourself you did. Think about what you're actually controlling right now. Really think about it. Can you control what other people decide? Can you control how circumstances unfold? Can you control timing? Can you control outcomes? No, you can't. You can influence. You can make choices. You can take action. But you can't control any of it. And yet you've been living like the entire weight of the outcome rests on your shoulders. Like if you don't figure it out, it won't get figured out. Like if you don't fix it, it won't get fixed. But that's not your burden to carry. It never was. You're not God. You're not responsible for making everything work out. You're not required to have all the answers or solve all the problems or carry all the weight. You're just required to trust the one who can. But you don't. Not really. You say you trust God, but your life tells a different story. You're stressed all the time. You're overwhelmed constantly. You're mentally running through scenarios, trying to anticipate problems, trying to stay 10 steps ahead of disaster. That's not trust. That's anxiety dressed up as responsibility. And God never asked you to live this way. He never asked you to carry burdens that are too heavy for you. He never asked you to solve problems that are beyond your capacity. He never asked you to manage outcomes you have no power to control. He asked you to bring them to Him, and then leave them there, not pick them back up an hour later, not check on them every 5 minutes to make sure He's handling them the way you think they should be handled. Actually leave them. Trust Him with them. Let Him carry what only He can carry. But you won't, because somewhere deep in your heart, you don't believe He'll do it right. You don't believe He'll act fast enough. You don't believe He'll solve it the way it needs to be solved. You don't believe His plan is as good as your plan. So you keep trying to help Him. Keep trying to nudge things along. Keep trying to make sure it all works out the way you think it should. And in the process, you block the very thing you're desperately asking Him to do. Because God doesn't work where you're still trying to be in control. He doesn't take over where you're still clutching the reins. He waits, patiently, for you to finally let go. Here's what's really happening. Why you can't seem to release this, even though it's destroying you. You've made yourself responsible for things God never signed to you. You think it's your job to make sure everyone's okay, to keep the family together, to make the business work, to ensure the outcome you're hoping for actually happens. And maybe some of that is your responsibility. Maybe there are legitimate things you need to do, decisions you need to make, actions you need to take. But you've gone way beyond that. You've taken responsibility for outcomes, for other people's choices, for things completely outside your control. And now you're carrying guilt and pressure and anxiety over things that were never yours to carry in the first place. You're trying to be the savior, but you're not. And the more you try, the more you're going to burn out, because you weren't designed to hold all of this. You weren't built with the capacity to manage everyone's problems and fix everyone's lives and ensure everything turns out okay. Only God can do that, and He's been trying to get you to hand it over, but you won't, because handing it over feels irresponsible, like you're giving up, like you're not doing enough. But it's not irresponsible. It's faith. It's recognizing that there's a difference between what you're called to do and what only God can do. And when you try to do God's part, you fail. Every time. Because you're operating outside your design. You're a human trying to play God. And it never works. So what do? How do you actually let go when everything in you is screaming to hold on tighter? You start by getting honest. Honest about what you can actually control. Honest about what's really your responsibility and what you've just taken on because you're afraid no one else will handle it. Honest about the fact that you've been trying to do God's job and it's not working. You make a list, not in your head. Actually write it down. Everything you're carrying, every problem you're trying to solve, every burden weighing on you. And then you go through that list and ask yourself one question for each item. Is this mine to carry or is this God's? Not can I influence this? Not do I care about this? But is it actually mine to carry? And here's the truth you're going to discover when you do this honestly. Most of what you're carrying isn't yours. It's not your job to make your adult children make good choices. You can guide, you can advise, but their choices, that's between them and God. It's not your job to single-handedly keep your marriage together. If your spouse isn't willing to work on it, you can do your part, but you can't do theirs too. It's not your job to ensure your business succeeds if the market conditions are beyond your control. You can work hard. You can make wise decisions. But outcomes, those belong to God. Most of what's crushing you right now is stuff you were never meant to carry. And when you finally see that, when you finally admit it, that's when you can start releasing it. Not all at once. This isn't about one prayer where you hand everything over and never think about it again. This is a practice, a daily, moment-by-moment practice of recognizing when you're trying to control something you can't control and choosing to release it back to God over and over, as many times as it takes, because you're going to pick it back up. Your mind is going to drift back to the problem. Your anxiety is going to try to convince you that you need to do something. And that's when you make the choice again, to release it, to trust, to let God be God. Here's what happens when you actually do this. When you stop trying to solve everything and start letting God handle what only He can handle, the burden lifts, not because the problem goes away, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. And you realize something that changes everything. God is better at this than you are. He sees things you can't see. He knows things you don't know. He has access to resources and solutions and timing that's completely beyond your awareness. And when you get out of the way, when you stop trying to force your plan and start trusting He works. Not always the way you expected, not always on your timeline, but He works. And the outcome is better than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. But you'll never see that as long as you're still trying to be in control, as long as you're still micromanaging, still strategizing, still losing sleep over things you have no power to change. You're blocking God from doing what He's been wanting to do all along. You're like someone drowning, fighting the lifeguard who's trying to save them. You're thrashing, you're struggling. Your desperate attempts to save yourself, they're preventing the very rescue you need. You have to stop fighting, stop striving, stop trying to do it yourself, and let God save you, not just spiritually, practically, in the actual situations you're facing right now. Let Him carry the financial burden. Let Him handle the relationship problem. Let Him work out the circumstances that seem impossible. Your job is to do what He asks you to do. Make the wise choices that are in front of you. Take the responsible actions that are actually yours to take, and then release the outcome. Trust that He's working even when you can't see it. Believe that He's got this even when it looks like everything's falling apart. That's faith, not hoping it works out. Trusting that God is working it out, even when you can't see how. And when you live like that, when you finally stop trying to carry what only God can carry, everything changes. Not because your problems disappear, but because you're no longer crushed by the weight of trying to solve them all yourself. You're lighter, freer, more at peace. Not because you're irresponsible, because you're finally operating within your design, doing what's yours to do, and trusting God with what's his to do. And that's the life he's been calling you to all along, not the exhausting, anxiety-filled, trying to hold everything together on your own life you've been living, but the surrendered, trusting, God is actually in control life that's been waiting for you to step into. It's not easier. The problems don't vanish. The circumstances don't magically resolve. But you're not alone anymore. You're not carrying it all anymore. God is carrying it, like he's been wanting to do since the beginning. And all he's been waiting for is you to let him. So let him, today, right now, take that thing you've been white-knuckling, that problem you've been obsessing over, that burden that's been crushing you, and release it. Truly release it. Not because you don't care, but because you finally trust that God cares more, and he's been waiting to take it from you. So give it to him, and leave it there, and watch what he does when you finally stop trying to do his job. You'll be amazed, not at what you accomplish, but at what he's been ready to accomplish all along, if you just let him.